Welcome back to another journal entry. Um, I promised one in June. It is July. I apologize for that, but anyway, it's been pretty busy. I'm working two jobs, by the way. Um, I also have a huge, family to help out, so most of my time will be with family or working. And it kind of sucks, but hey, that's YouTube for you, or that's life for you. But yeah, I'm back home for college, not from college. I'm back home from college for the summer for like 3 months. Yeah, realistically 3 months. Been working for a month and a half. It's been pretty chill. Uh, but yeah, what can I do today? Get iron. Yeah. But regardless of that, it's been pretty wild. Came back from vacation a couple weeks ago, or not a couple days ago. It was fun. Iron here. Maybe just a cave. Yeah, back cave. it was fun. Went to see some baseball, some roller coasters, and WWE. WWE happened. I went there, and it was pretty cool. People around me weren't really cool, but what do you expect from WWE? What do here? I don't know. But regardless of that, I'll do something here. So, a topic. It's very convoluted right now, but I feel I kind of have to address this because we have nothing. Ooh, but uh, I might get a bit of heat for it. Maybe not a lot, but regardless, right? I don't know the full acronym. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I gotta look it up real quick because I gotta make sure I get my stuff right. The United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. Okay, I know this is a bit of a bad, thing. Not a bad thing. Kind of a bad thing to talk about because of just how insane the couple months have been. In terms of ICE, there's a lot of news. There's been a lot of news everywhere since they were given more authority for things. Um, is it bad for me to talk about it? I don't think so. I'm not really much of a relevant person in this content sphere, so I can have a bit more free reign. Bad part is if I do get out of my own sphere, then this video probably haunt me. Whatever, whatever. I'll see this right now. Let me. I don't like ice. Now we got that out of the way. Ice has been a constant, thorn in my side. Not because I have any like relationship with it or I've ever encountered it. It's more of just how, in a sense, um, it kind of acts as an authoritarian secret police. And there's good things that ICE do. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's all bad, but in the past, it used to do well in at least acknowledging that there's bad, um, criminals and everything like that, which is good. Um, if I sit here and say that's bad, then I'm suggesting things that are irrehensible. So get that out of the way, I think people coming here and harming people is a bad thing. Is that such a bad thing to say? I have to clarify that. However, since I want to say 2016, I've been. My grandpa says I've been woke. I've been pretty woke, I guess. Um, in my opinion, at least, ICE hasn't done a lot of relatively good things and doing its job. You it has done a lot of messed up stuff. It's hurt its prisoners. It has hurt people seeking asylum from countries that don't have much fortune towards their people and opportunities for their people. Um, and you think as a country of immigrants, you think the United States would be more lenient in helping people wanting to better America, but you don't really see that. You don't really think like that nowadays. There's I don't understand why in particular. People like to fearmonger and be like most people who are immigrants or who come from immigrant descent are the ones who commit more crimes or the ones who do the do the most harm towards America. But I think in reality, it's the people who say that stuff. They think of themselves that a country can be reformed by getting rid of people they don't see fit in their own nationalistic ideal. Because then you introduce this authoritarian. I try to pronounce that right. Kind of like wants and things like you want things to be more controlled and more uh in a way like if I could find a way to put it together, I could put it together, but like it's very racist. Some of it is very racist, of course. Like I saw that video of a cat shaking its head and like to like countries the United States should allow immigrants from, and I'm like, that's the type of shit that like people should like get off the internet for. Honestly, like why even put that out there? Because you think like people from countries that you would classify as a third world or lesser or whatever culturally inferior to whatever other country you think of, it's like that's fucked. I feel like that's oh my god, why are these three here? Whatever. I feel like that's morally irrehensible. I think that stuff is really messed up. Um, my family is not descendants of immigrants. My family was the original Tejano population in Texas. Um, they've lived here since before Texas was considered America. They were here when Mexico still had Texas. And it's been like that since I was born. I've had a family who married into the family who my only part of my family that were really immigrants is my great grandpa. That's pretty much it. From Mexico. That's it. My other family in Germany and in Ireland, but that's a way back. So I have no direct affiliation with immigrants other than my way back relatives being immigrants. But I still like to at least have some sort of representation of that because that's my culture, that's my family. Why would I sit behind this kind of precarious position of wanting to be white? It doesn't make sense. I don't like that. Like, I see people on the internet who are descendants of immigrants or who are like a person of color, I guess, and they act as if they want to be white or they side with white supremacist ideals. And people who don't actively say that stuff, but who notion towards it and feel like because this person is this, I think the whole idea and the population of that person is bad. I'm like, I feel like you wouldn't like it if we do it to you. So why would you do it to anybody else? You know? Yeah, that's fucked up. And I feel like people who are like that in my community should, feel ashamed. Shame them. Do something. It's so messed up that we give these people a platform and like the acceptance that their their way of thinking and their way of putting people. Ooh, my cat's mad. They think that way of thinking is right and justified, but it's not. It's not just. It's not justifiable. It's racist and xenophobic, really too. Um, it's all stemming from there's a car outside my door, my room, going crazy fast. To think that is the way you should treat people is just wrong. There's no way. No, there's no other way to put it. Honestly, like I feel like people should know better, but you know, they learn things on the internet, and they teach each other that that's the way they should be acting. I see it a lot on like forums, like 4chan and all that, but I never go on 4chan. I just watch videos of people who uh have those ideals that are from 4chan. I get those documentaries too. Don't worry. Um, it's very fucked up. It's very fucked up. I don't understand it. I don't want to. I don't really want to understand it because that's the way I just that's how I see how not to live my life. If that makes sense. And on it's so weird, dude. And then they support ICE, right? And ICE, in and of itself, is a very corrupt organization. It pretty much is because, in a sense, it can act as if it is a police state or it's a secret police, where it has been given free reign to organize and terrorize a group of people into being like whatever the state wants them to be. It doesn't it's like you give these people free reign to destabilize a community because you feel as if that community is being whatever you think it is. Some people think it's being, what's it called? I guess like evil or un-American, but I'm like, to be un-American is to be un-American is to not progress the people around you by helping them, by not giving them a chance to like grow. Being un-American to me is like not hating America, but more of like letting America go bad, or like getting rid of the opportunity for America to be better. And I feel like, or not really feel like, I believe, not believe, I know that if you get rid of immigrants as a way to like counteract that or like to be quote unquote improving America is just backwards because then it's like morally it's wrong, 100%. And like I that argument is just, to some people it's like debatable. Like how can you be debatable of a moral issue when it's like how, like what kind of sociopath and psychopath would think that deporting every person with lighter skin color or with a darker skin color is good? Like, come on, you have some some like some empathy or something. It makes no sense, but to some people it does, and it's so fucked up, it's so messed up. And and of course, people would disagree with me because they're just racist. I just feel like 100% they're just racist, right? I find disagreements in the moral sense to be based upon prejudice. You know, is that a bit unfair? I honestly don't think so. I find it very, very hard to believe that, like, if you disagree with me on a moral sense where people of different skin color are viewed lesser than you, I don't want to be around you. And this, I think it extends to ice itself, right? Where if you think ice is a morally acceptable way to deal with something like this, immigrant families trying to find solace in wanting to be better and wanting to have their families be better off than their whatever other country they're in, and you expect them to, in a sense, bend the knee and be scared of even existing in this country, and then you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong, dude. That's so fucked up. Because like that brings a point in where you're like you have to put yourself in their shoes. Then. But for people, they're just too self righteous or like too like innocent to be themselves in that way, and to be like, oh, I don't view myself in that because I don't I'm not illegal or whatever. I'm like, you have to put yourself as in, like, if you were illegal, how would you feel? You know? And there's people that are just that stupid to like, well, I'm not. So like, why would I put myself there? I'm like, because that's empathy, bro. Like, are you like either they're too stupid to have empathy or they just refuse to have empathy? You know? That's when you realize, like, okay, I'm dealing with a person who's outright evil. I'm dealing with people who have no sense of morality. That's scary. It's very scary, dude. Because by that point, you're like, what the fuck is this guy even thinking? You know? It makes no sense. And I'm supposed to agree with him? I'm supposed to, give him benefit of the doubt? No, dude. No. I'm not doing that. That's that's so messed up. That's not how I want to live my life. I don't want. That's not what I want. How people should live their lives. It's so messed up. I'm not gonna, sit here and be like, oh, he has this and that, but he's a good guy. No, fuck you, dude. Oops. Fuck you. Like, if I was an immigrant, what would you do? Would you fucking call ICE on me? If I have a friend who's like that, I'm not. He's not my friend anymore. It's like, wow, you would view me lesser if wasn't, I wasn't a national citizen or whatever. Wow, that's so messed up. That is so messed up. What shocks me the most too sometimes is like people see that and still, be friends with that, or like still kind of like sympathize with it. Not sympathize, but more like brush it under the rug, It's just like, really? I feel like there's a hill that every person that's not a hill you should die on. That's not a hill you should die on. 'Cause that's your community. That's your people. That's people who you would have grown up with. And it's so bad, dude. Wow, dude. And what surprises me the most about this is like there's no sense of accountability for being like to be pro ICE. There's nothing that people could do other than shame me publicly, which I will do if you're like that, because then there's this fear within people to be like, oh, if I was into ICE, then like I'm going against an American institution. I'm like, do you like the government? No. Do you like the game warden? No. You're just, I think people in their core are just anti-establishment. But the fact you're willing to side with these people because you are just racist, then you are un-American. If you if you have pleasure in viewing people being torn apart from their families because you're just racist, then you're racist, bro. Like, there's no arguing with that. It's so messed up. It's so messed up how the way ICE has been treating immigrants. And there are people out there who support it. There are people out there who are just like that. And I want you, the viewer, to understand, right, that way of thinking and that way of living, or in general, that way of just being conscious about immigration issues is just plain wrong. All right? You should not think that of other people. You should not think that of yourself as pro ICE. I don't think anybody in this world should be pro ICE, regardless of whether or not you think it's justified. Uh, Pro ICE, even before this whole, everything has been a department that has been fueled by hatred and has been giving leeway to harass and hurt people. And it brings to discussion recent, events. ICE has never been a good institution. It's been given too much authority over people who just want to make better of themselves and their family. This country, in and of itself, right, it has been going in a direction where it has limited our way of living. It has limited our way of freedom. It has limited our way of protection and stability. All in the name for whatever message these people would want the message to be. America great again, bro. Brother, it ain't even great. The fact that like people came and lived without being terrified of being, killed on the street. Like people who are supposed to protect you. Ah, eyes, all of that. Like, you think that people would want that? No. I have more stone. It baffles me. It really, really does. Baffles me. People would disagree disagree with me on that because of what they're taught, you know? And I don't know. I feel like I'm going off a tangent, but like, it's so it's miserable to see this stuff happen, and people would continue to support it. And there's not a lot of people who would speak up about it. Why would we not? Why would people not speak up about it? I have an idea, right? I think one of them is like their community in and of itself is racist, right? Or very or discriminatory. That's not every community, but that's one. It's one way, right? Another is I think it's like they fear that they are anti-American, right? I think like in a way, not really. You're not really being anti-American. If anti-American is like, I feel like anti-American is like, as I was saying, just not looking out for the best interest of America, and that is like debilitating the people in America through fear. But people don't view ICE as fear; they view them as prosperity. They're not prosperity. They're not. Sorry, they're not. I should no, no. Sorry. Fuck you. Fuck you. Like like come on. I feel like people shouldn't be scared of saying that. They are because it goes to another reason where they foster this community of hatred. They foster it so much. They give it life. They give it their time and their energy because they feel as if they really fear of losing that. They fear that if they don't, you know, be whatever the community is, in a sense racist or just very right wing, then they'll lose that community. I'm like, that really shouldn't be your community in the first place, you know. But but you know, they don't see it that way. Why? I don't know. That's a question for them, not me. They've done well in what they're doing now, but then given the challenge, they fold because they're scared of losing that. They're scared of losing the people that give them money. um, I feel like I'm going out of tangent with what I wanted to talk about, but it's okay because it's my video, bro. But in all reality, right? I believe that ICE is almost similar to a terrorist organization. It is terrorizing the American population. It is terrorizing the immigrant population in America. It is terrorizing American citizens. It is terrorizing people who oppose ICE. It has worked with companies like Flock and other surveillance companies to continue to destabilize the immigrant population in America. They continue to hinder and produce shocking, shocking stories and news articles about ICE. ICE should not be where it is to be today. ICE should be abolished and made and reformed, really reformed in an institution that better helps immigrants come to America and flourish in America and become a part of America, a history that is being currently overshadowed by people who do not know how to run country in all aspects. And the fact that flock cameras are a thing and that they are so abundant that like I could look it up and they're all around. They're all around my neighborhood. They are all around my neighborhood because my neighborhood's majority Hispanic. I guess Black and Hispanic. That's so fucked up. It's so fucked up, right? Yeah, am I the only one who thinks like this, bro? Like that is not messed up, or that's messed up. I feel like I'm the only one who thinks like that. Like, oh my god, so many police surveillance cameras around my neighborhood. Like, really, dude? And I can go on about like how America has been known to like destabilize marginalized communities by ways of the crack epidemic, uh, introducing lifted trucks in the Mexican community. I swear to God, I keep seeing those fucking trucks. They're so bad. I hate them. They also, they've done their work in trying to destabilize communities in general. Uh, it has worked in some instances, and it has not worked in some instances. Right? The fact that I'm pointing this out should be a red flag to anybody. But whatever. I'm a dumb liberal. I'm whatever, dude. Whatever. If me saying this in general gives you the impression that I am, you know, not what you seem, well, not what you make of me, and if you don't agree with me, I don't really give a shit, dude. Like, I don't really care. I've hated ICE. ICE has done horrible things to people. It has killed people. It has assailed people. It has manipulated people into believing that what they're doing is justified and right. They've done their damnedest to feel as if their work is justified. It's not justified. I don't. I can't. I'm reiterating over and over again, but like I have to say it, man. Fuck ICE, dude. I fuck ICE, man. Will that garner something? I don't really care. I'm at a stage in my life where I feel like I need to say something. I have to have morals to stand on. I have to have principles to stand on. I fully believe I of this of me not liking ICE because is it's it's a lot. It's very hard for me to put it into words sometimes because I could say so much, but when in this moment I'm just at a loss. They've killed people. They've done so much horrible shit. I just can't see myself like not talking about it in this sense. Not, there's nothing you can. I feel like there's nothing you can say to me that would make me feel better or make me agree with you in supporting ICE. Is that unfair? I really want to know. Is that unfair? I don't think it is unfair. I think it's justified. I think my way of this my way of thinking like this is justified because I have not been given a reason to agree with that. I'm not given any answer to feel as if ICE is a good thing. I think I'll finish this build the next month. It's a lot. Yeah. Here's what I'll say, right? I need to build these. I need these guys out of here, or I should trap them in a boat. All right. F1, F5. ICE is bad. ICE should not be allowed to exist. It should be reformed into a better, sustainable government agency that helps out all of its people, immigrants, Americans alike. Yeah. Fuck ICE. Bye.